Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker had spent the last year trying to bring fed-up blue-collar workers and disillusioned swing voters back into the fold. Yet after President Joe Biden's angst-inducing debate performance, it was discouraged Democrats he needed to convince as he campaigned in Ohio.
Waking people up. If we stopped being so damned afraid of a little chaos and just embraced it as the path from here to there, we will win.
What did you mean by that?
I meant that, as Democrats, we sometimes hold back and we get sort of personally conservative, not on the issues, but just not engaging in the fight in the way that we should. We know what we're fighting against, and even before there was any decision about whether President Biden was going to be our candidate or not, we knew that we had to come together to fight the fight against Donald Trump. The anxiety I wanted everybody to put away, and indeed I think it's turned out that people have put their anxiety away, and now we have a great candidate and people are pulling together, and she's now pulling ahead.
Harris will formally accept her party's nomination in Chicago. Democrats had held their convention there multiple times before, and Pritzker was instrumental in helping the city win its bid for 2024.
So I understand that you're a bit of a convention junkie. When was the first convention that you went to, first Democratic National Convention?
Oh gosh, and I kind of don't remember the exact order of them, but it's so exciting. I was a volunteer, I think when I was 18 or 19 years old. So that would have been 1984. And I actually worked on the Mondale campaign. When I was younger, it was all volunteer. Later, I was, either doing it as part of a delegation or as somebody who was a guest at these conventions. And of course now, as governor, we didn't have the convention in Milwaukee, as you know, because of COVID-19, but I nevertheless served as a leader in my delegation and will do so again now that we're having the Democratic Convention right here in Chicago in just a few weeks. Every time I saw the president, whether he was coming here or I was going to Washington, D.C., almost the first thing I would say after saying, "Good to see you, Mr. President," was, "We're going to have the convention in Chicago, right?" And so he knew how important this was to me and to Chicago. I think he also knew, and this is why I think Chicago got picked, is we've carried out the Build Back Better agenda. We've carried out the fundamental agenda of the Democratic Party here.
Pritzker is an heir to the Hyatt Hotel fortune and has an estimated $3.5 billion net worth, according to Forbes. He's donated heavily over the years to political causes. But after a front row seat to Hillary Clinton's presidential losses, Pritzker wanted to be the one calling the shots.
My friends thought that I was crazy to run for governor. Honestly, the Democratic Party was not exactly crying out for a white, Ukrainian-American, Jewish billionaire.
How did someone with a net worth of $3.5 billion become the face of the working man?
The fact is that I grew up in a household with two parents who deeply believe in social equity. There were two people who fought hard for Democrats to get elected to office. I was marching with my mother, who was fighting for reproductive rights and LGBTQ rights when I was just a little kid. My father was raising money for people like Ed Muskie and for candidates who believe in the fundamental values of the Democratic Party, fighting for those who are most vulnerable, fighting for average working families.
Being a wealthy man, I think he knows his business. He had to be where he's at now. I love the way he passed the infrastructure bill, clean energy bill, all that things he got done while he was in Illinois, and I think if he were president, he'd get it done for the country too.
Pritzker was a top Biden backer, but now he's working to elect Harris.
Do you think that was the right thing for him to do, for him to endorse the vice president? Because it boxed people like yourself out from running.
Yeah, but remember, there wasn't a lot of time. He made that decision. I don't think it boxed anybody. I think here we had about 120 days, I think, in order to prosecute a campaign against Donald Trump and win. And you couldn't have a big battle among a bunch of Democrats. I mean, she's basically the leader of the party like he is as the vice president.
Well, let's talk about your future. Are you planning to run for a third term as governor?
I haven't made any decisions about that. We don't have term limits here in Illinois. I always joke that my term limit is my wife, who will tell me when she thinks we've done enough here and we've accomplished enough. Honestly, we've got so much more to do in the state of Illinois, and so I want to make sure that we're putting our state in the best position for its future. And so I'll make that decision, over the next year and a half.
It would be difficult to run for a third term and then also run for the presidency in 2028. Is that one of the things that's on your mind, is potentially running for the presidency?
People ask me this all the time, and of course I'm flattered to hear it. I must say, though, that being governor of Illinois is a terrific opportunity, and I've taken advantage of that opportunity by getting so many things done that I think have really reformed our state in a positive way.
You think you're ready to be commander-in-chief?
Well, I'm commander-in-chief of the state of Illinois and the National Guard here in the state of Illinois. So I've loved that job, and I would love to continue doing that job.